I saw your Instagram where you played drums on something, and then whoa, dude!
Thank you.
You need to let him start so I can talk about this.
Oh yeah, whatever. We'll go. All right. That's good. Whatever. Hey, that's cool. No, that's cool.
Are we started?
Hey,
here?
we're rolling.
Good evening,
we're
ladies
rolling.
and gentlemen. Sorry, go ahead. It's the Bear Show. It's not Willie's show.
No, it's the Willie Show, man. This is about you, not me. This is the process. Welcome. My name is Bear Knox. This is Brother Willie. All right, aka Willie Bryant. Now let's jump right into it, man. I want to talk to you about being alive and being a musician and like stuff that you like and love and want and do. And what's it been like to live as a musician for your whole life?
It's been a hell of a ride.
Yeah, man.
It's been a hell of a ride.
That's awesome. That it's so interesting to me, seeing like. So you're walking in here today and you're like talking with Maddie about t-shirts, man. It's like that's. All of us, all musicians are like traveling t-shirt salesmen, man. It's like
exactly. That is your gig, basically. That.
But I mean,
listen to my song.
Yeah, listen to my song. Check out this t-shirt. Like, but everybody's in that business for real. You know what I mean? Like every YouTuber, every musician, whatever. It's like all the popular YouTube guys are like. You're wearing an InfoWars hat, like right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, is
this an info commercial or an InfoWars ad?
We both work for BlackRock now. Dude, like,
I do like black and I do like rock.
Sweet. What about crack rock? Dude, like, what is it like? What is it like to try and get across to younger artists, like? It's a long haul, and you gotta just...
Actually, my rejuvenation to this whole idea was getting with Maddie's band.
Sweet.
Me and DB had already been through our run of what we call, are we going to ever top this? Wow, this is cool. We played some really good shows and things, but whenever I got in Maddie's band, I saw the youth thing again. It was a not starting over, but it was a want to. It was a lot more want to.
I like that. I like that.
And so that gave me drive
for sure
to help drive her as a younger artist into a younger audience.
And you are effectively the sage here, man. It's like you've walked the path, we're all you've been through. Yeah. And we're looking at you, Maddie's a little bit younger than me. I'm 36. But to see guys like you that have done this, man, and done it for a long time, made it your life, you're doing it, you're an artist, you love music. And you keep going out and doing the thing. And a lot of people don't see the journeyman musician anymore. They just see like whatever famous is.
Yeah. You don't get popular until you're popular.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, if you ain't already got a major following, nobody's going to look for you in the real business. So,
that's for sure.
So you have to create this here underground thing. Yeah. And then so it's a build.
That's right.
And then you can become popular. All of a sudden, oh, look at there. Now they're popular.
I've been watching those guys since the beginning. Yeah. Yeah. It seems like there's a guy I talked with recently named Connor O'Farrell, and he's like 22, and he's like, I want to bring rock back. That's my life's mission, man. I want to bring rock back, like not the soulless bullshit that is today. Like I want a Ramones revival, man. I want to actually feel punk in my bones, and that shit still exists. People are still writing it, and I want to put it out there. And so to see that coming from a 22-year-old cat, like lit me up, man. Because I was like, I thought all the early 20-somethings or the late teen-somethings were done. Like they were just like, screw music. I want to go do something else, be on YouTube.
Last night at rehearsal, we were sitting around and I said, man, this indie thing is really going apeshit now. I mean, all of a sudden, all these younger artists from 18 to 25, they're into this indie music, Yeah. And I'm going like, oh, well, it's kind of rock. It's kind of punk, but it's got all these different elements that makes it kind of new.
Yeah. Yeah, it's another step, man. It's another piece of the evolution of what rock was and what it's going to be, and that can't have corporate oversight. It can't. Like, rock really can't have corporate oversight, and it's gotten caged.
I would have thought over the 60s, 70s, 80s, that as musicians would infiltrate the business, it would become more that. You would have that opportunity to have a real musician tell you, let's work on this, let's get this right. I know I've been here, we've done this, and you could temper tune an artist, to where they're doing their thing and they're good. But still corporate. Me and Maddie went to Nashville last couple of years, and it has been. I'm calling the game bullshit.
Yeah, man. That's that. Yeah, we were talking about that last time, where there's an act that goes along with it.
Well, we were saying looking at Lainey Wilson. I mean, she started was pure.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, look, I mean, she's got every sponsor. She's got a special brand of bell-bottom pants.
Yeah.
And all.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then you become like beholden to that because you're trying to like feed your family or whatever. At some point, are you trying to feed your family? You're trying to get like a jet plane.
That bank account moves a little different.
Everybody is totally fed, man.
Yeah.
Like, God knows. Yeah, that's, talking about that with Maddie last time, I've thought about it since. Like, there's just a huge difference in between fame and the artistry of all of this. And a lot of artists that get catapulted to the top, they get pulled into a money-making machine, and that doesn't include just music. It includes custom bell bottoms or whatever. It includes a Pepsi deal or whatever it's going to be.
I want that truck deal.
Yeah. I mean, man, like, what is it that there's certainly avenues to go and make music and money, but the fame thing at some point is, I think it detracts. I think it pulls away from just a pure music for music's sake or music from a poetic state. You're not gonna. Jason Isbell's not like he's a very rare commercial person. You know what I'm saying? Like, he works in a commercial sense, but
his name is known.
Yeah, but
on
very
average,
rarely.
So, how many people really know him?
That's true. I
mean, compared to Lainey,
Right. And is that
commercial success or not? I'm sure he would say he's successful.
Sure.
I would think
of that.
If I was in his position, I'd be going like, go Jason.
Yeah, for sure.
Can I be in your band?
Well, there's, call us. Where is that line in your mind? Like, in my mind, it's like, if you're playing for a living, you're a successful musician. If you're playing and you're playing to an audience, if you're playing and people are enjoying it, and there is an opportunity to survive off that, then you're a successful musician.
Yes, you are. It's a weird thing that it took me in my 30s, probably back to where y'all are, where I realized that I can take everything that I want in a successful situation. The first time I was on the House of Blues stage, we were opening for Alice Cooper.
Awesome.
And we were doing sound check, and that moment of success, I mean, it overwhelmed me to the point I was standing there waiting on my time to hit my bass, and I looked up and go like, all those that came before me that was on this stage. And as soon as I get done with my 45 minutes, fucking Alice Cooper's coming on. And he came out of a Jack in the Box on the side of the stage, and I got to see it. I was the opening act. Okay, have I reached the pinnacle? That was Ken McMurray, my buddy that's in my new band, Willie Ken's. That was his first ever real show. And that was our first. I mean, we had played places and done great things, but this was the House of Blues, Myrtle Beach, opening for Alice Cooper. This was a big moment for the band and everything. So success at that moment felt like I was at the top.
Yeah.
The next Saturday, that next day, we did it on Friday. Saturday, we're playing a bar. 3 people.
Dude,
bam, knock your ass right back there. Yep.
How that is so real, man. That is so real to play to an audience of 3, 2, none. Those are tough ones, man. I've certainly
after just
played
doing
them.
Alice too. I mean, you're up to doing the same songs, almost the same set. You're up there giving it your all, and you're going like, what we did last night is totally different than what we're getting back. You know what I mean? What you get back to that, even though you've already, like I said, make that their mark of success. I was at Alice Cooper. And of course, then we got to do even better. I mean, I ain't saying that that was the top of my run, but it was that moment of understanding, have I reached it?
Yeah.
What else is there?
That's right. What else is there?
To that point. And then there was this time we were playing in Milwaukee at Summerfest, and it was the bill was D.B. Bryant, 38 Special, Leonard Skinner.
That's insane.
At the amphitheater, and it was our first time really playing. We had played Summerfest like several years back. Open for Big and Rich, open for several cool bands, Hank Williams Jr. And but this was on the amphitheater side of the Summerfest grounds, and so we play our set, and of course, we're the first band, so the amphitheater, you see people up on the lawn, you see chairs, people filling in, but by our last 4 songs, it was, I call it full house. And then at the end, whenever we were doing our last song, Time to Ride, which is, it was during a bike event too, and Leonard Skinner and everybody. So our song, Time to Ride, when we finished Time to Ride and DB drug his Stratocaster across the front of the stage and we're all throwing picks and sticks out to the audience, and the music quit and you could hear this, and it spread from here to there. It was amphitheater. It was not a little small, I mean, even the House of Blues sounded big.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden it was like, I can hear people hollering from,
That's so epic, man.
And so did I reach it then? No, because as soon as I get done with that show, okay, we go upstairs. There's a 3-level thing at this amphitheater. So we go all the way up to where our dressing room is. And we go up there and they got these fridge full of Red Bulls and all kinds of Mountain Dews, Dr. Peppers and shit. So we're in there getting our little snack on after the show. Turn on, the TV was on, and this will let you know exactly whenever it happened. The TV was on, ESPN is on, and all of a sudden, I say, hey guys, come in. Carolina's on. Look, we just won the national championship.
No way.
They all jumped on top. They just jumped on the field. Everybody was throwing water and, hey, Carolina, yeah.
That's awesome.
So we look around and we go like, I thought it couldn't get no better. But now hometown boys are world and class champions.
That's excellent.
Baseball, yeah.
That's so cool, man.
That was a good night.
That's a good night.
How can you get better than that now?
Yeah, man. Like, and that's to have that experience, to question, when have I made it? I think that when people constantly question that, have I made this? Have I made it? Am I at whatever? Like, I think that bastardizes those experiences. Like, if you have to ask those questions all the time, like, then it belittles the moments that you have. Like, that's a truly incredible experience. You lived that moment.
I went through that.
That's the moment.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
It was crazy,
and so, yeah, man.
But, little moments, I'll be honest, like writing a song with Maddie. We were in Nashville. We were in the basement, and I throw out this one little thing. Hey, why don't you repeat this line round and round and round? And everybody goes, the new song. And I was going, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then whenever last night when we practiced it and they went to those harmonies, I said, that is a hook, mother. That is
That's
a
awesome.
hook. So the new, so where do you, as a songwriter, just throwing out your little ideas?
Yeah.
There's special things. Have I made it yet? I think if she records that song and it becomes even out.
Yeah. Out. Yeah.
Out.
Shipped.
Yes,
so it can be heard. Yeah. That's it.
I think I've helped. I've made it. That was a moment just about as good as being up there going, go Carolina, go Cox.
Yeah, man. I like that. I like that so much, man. That is. Those moments are when it's real to me. In the moment of creation of a song, like when it's happening as it's blossoming, or like you get a chorus recorded and then you just sit there with playback and it kicks and it's like, damn, this is a good song, and like you're the thing like that it's channeling through. That right there, that's it. That's making it. Those are the moments that you live for, and as you're writing and creating, like that's what it's all about. That's making it. That's living the life of a creative, of an artist, and like to constantly put something like fame at the pinnacle instead of the experience of art creation at the pinnacle. Yeah. It makes worse art. It makes corporate art.
The corporate part of it is sad whenever you have to put your business brain on.
Yeah. Well,
click. Oh shit. Sorry, I don't know if you can cuss.
No, you cuss. You cuss.
Thing here.
I don't get.
Shit. Now I got to think about this, and now my budget ain't going to let this happen.
I don't get discouraged about the business side of things. I think in business terms, and there is business creativity as well, but to overly commercialize something like art, there's some soul sucking in that. I'm hoping that some new generation of music consumers get more interested in purchasing music itself again as physical media. And man, I saw an ad the other day. It was targeted at me, and I'm like, that's good that algorithms exist for that reason alone. But there's a French company, I believe they're called Rewind. If I'm wrong, sorry. But anyway, they're making like high-end, hi-fi tape cassette players to wear on your belt again. And they're made out of like steel. And so like if you just drop it, it's cool. And so you can patch in standard headphones to it, or it'll Bluetooth to, like a modern headset. But it's for cassettes. And so they're trying to ship this thing and get people interested in buying cassettes again, just so that kids aren't given infinity. Like with Spotify, it's like you have every song forever. And so you don't get a chance to form an identity and be like, hey man, I got this like Leonard Skinner cassette, and I got an AC/DC cassette, and that's all I can take with me today. Exactly. And so I'm like identifying with the group and identifying with the music and building some identification, like some self-ID with this. You
I can see that does help. When I was a kid, I'd go buy the album, and then you open it up and then you look at if it was one of those that opened up, oh wow, even better. But you read everything credit on the back. You listen to it all in one play. Just try to get through it. So you go, oh, this is the new album.
I love that, man.
That was a thing back in the day. But as you grow older, I can see and now streaming, it is so easy to get a song. The other day I said, I remember that song back in 1970 something. Let's look it up. There it was.
Yeah.
Bam.
I love streaming for that. I'm glad to have it. I will still pay for streaming services, but I will still go buy the vinyl. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to become I got a playlist of my favorite artists. Sure.
Like Steve Vai's in there, and look at all the songs that you can put in that one playlist and just let it play for an hour, and nothing but Steve Vai.
That's right.
But that's not like involving yourself in like what I said, getting the album and anticipating the new album, being on the in the fan club, the Kiss fan club. Oh, woo, Kiss Army. To find out that there was some new album coming out soon or something, and you're invested in that group.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
So it becomes a thing.
Yeah, and to have the physical media itself, man, I've said this. I think about it like this. I got a lot of books in my house. Like, they're part of the decor of my house. Like, they're part of the decor of me. Mm-hmm. Like, they've helped build my character. They've helped build my psychology. There's a lot of words that are existing in me. All those albums, those vinyl albums that are sitting there, that's a part of me, man.
That's true.
Like, they're part of, like, my expression as a musician.
Yep.
So I grew up with CDs, grew up with tapes.
So you started, since you were young, you started with CDs
and tapes.
And then you went back to tape.
Yeah, well, Dad drove a Ford Ranger that had a tape, a little tape deck in it, and so like we had everything on CD and everything on cassette, and so tons and tons of bands that I could support.
Like your dad, we're a little bit old. I started out with the daggum 8-track.
8-track, man.
Well, but that was after we used a reel-to-reel, which couldn't get in the car.
No kidding.
We couldn't put that reel-to-reel in the car. I don't know why, but it just wouldn't work.
Hitting bumps, skipping. Man, but that's like, I think that the cassette thing's probably going to be, I think that's going to make a comeback for indie bands because the vinyl is great for indie bands because you can get a vinyl printed and then like people can go and say, hey, I want to support your art with the vinyl, not necessarily a t-shirt or something. But to have like an ability to walk around with a vinyl is just never going to happen. It's cool to have it in your house.
That's right.
But I like listening as I walk, or I like to have a Walkman style thing. So I think that's a good
CD thing was good until it skipped.
Yeah, right.
And the tracking just was never good.
Yeah.
So, and that run around idea with a CD attached to your thing and you're jogging in it.
Yeah. Constantly skipping. Yeah.
It's got your skip going.
And so, yeah, I think the cassette thing is going to probably come back for the next go around of kids that are consuming music because they get overwhelmed by infinity. Did
you have the cassette player where it would automatically, it was like technology, man, whenever the cassette would play the other side without it flipping,
that's crazy.
And then I was like, whoa, I didn't have to take the tape out.
Yeah, that's insane. That's high end, man.
Yeah, man. That's
Ford didn't give us that option, man. Nah, that's probably what we're gonna see. We're gonna see another like a retro tech type of thing happen. And I mean,
steampunk it somehow.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's like, why don't you make beefed up good versions of what was excellent back in the day? And I mean, streaming quality of music, recording quality of music, all the digital quality is phenomenal, man. I'm mixing everything, almost everything in the box. And so love to have a streaming quality. Spotify kind of kills the quality a little bit. They chop off at 16K.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just like hard line.
Really? You don't even get up 22K?
No. So a lot of the sparkly stuff's gone. So SoundCloud doesn't do that. Apple Music doesn't do that. The Spotify, there's some premium tiers where you can get that back, but you have to pay.
What's that Aflac? Not Aflac, but whatever they call it. It's on Apple. I think they have a certain where it's super hi-fi or whatever. Aflac. I can't remember. Okay.
Who knows?
It's an edit.
No edits, man. Apple Hi-Fi? I don't know. It's a good question. They're doing a
I didn't know if that was the difference between like 48 and 96. You know how that whenever you record and do all that.
There are people that will argue with this until the.
Can you hear a difference?
No.
I can't hear a difference. I got my earbuds in and I can't hear a difference. I put nice headphones, can't hear a difference. Put in the studio speakers. Maybe it might be cleaner. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I think we're lying to ourselves half the time. Honestly, I mean.
So we've been recording at 48.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, dude, I dig that. I think, man, I got so accustomed years and years ago to the 44.1, and I mean that was the top end of the CD, and we all loved the sound of a CD. CD sound great, super clear, and like to go beyond that, like I don't really know what we're doing. It's like. I think we're getting a little crazy with the ear candy stuff, and we're kind of moving into sound textures more than we are song structures.
Oh, for sure,
And like,
for sure,
which is awesome. That's interesting.
I mean, if you're into tech or into sounds, sound architecting or whatever it is, you're building a sound product. What was it the other day? They were playing the Strymon, a pedal, and it was, the guitar sounded great as it hitting an open G chord. Bling, beautiful. But then he put that thing on, and all of a sudden he had an orchestra behind him, and it was full, and it was reverby, and then he just did an arpeggio after hitting the chord, and it just it's just so much lushness,
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's good. I don't think it's not a bad thing. I just feel like that's a direction that we've marched toward for a little while, because we have textures that have never been available, so we're going to paint with them.
Yes.
And that's wonderful. And
Lavenders and pinks.
I think you find sometimes you can get a little stuck with it, because it's like adding. I do sound design and stuff on the Moog. I build a lot of the synth sounds that I use, So the little Korg mini log here, it's digital analog blend, and so what you create, if you really are
polyphonic
playing,
or monophonic.
The Korg is polyphonic, the Moog is monophonic,
yeah.
and so build great for arpeggiation on the Moog, and just being able to play with the oscillators, run a sequence, say, little simple arpeggio, and just open up the envelope, play with the oscillators a little bit, change the frequency range, the cutoff, and
there's a variety of things that can be accomplished with each.
Right,
and
notationally or rhythmically, it can stay the same while you bend the timbre around it, which is beautiful. And I love that for sound design and music creation that way, because you put a lot of soul into it. It's like adding distortion to a guitar. You can add drive as you're playing, and it makes the song actually a little more aggressive.
Yep.
It speaks a little more spiritually, which is great. But as well, that if you're trying to build bigger chords and you put a little too much distortion on there, then you get interference patterns, and it starts to sound like shit.
Wobbles,
so you're kind of locked into power chords sometimes because of the lushness, So there's some.
It's so many parameters that is available, but you have to also know what's going to squash something.
Yeah.
Just like hitting a cymbal way too hard or hitting a drum way too hard.
That's right.
Which you would think that, oh man.
That's what I want. 100%.
Well, it's dying now. Every time you hit a tom, it don't ring no more.
Yeah, man. And that's that. I feel like that might be one of the complications for some of the newer musicians that are all in the box, is because they have almost infinite sounds. Like I see stuff on Instagram where guys are talking about they get stuck in deciding what their snare drum.
Auditioning.
Yeah. What's my snare drum going to sound
We're
like?
going to audition the snare drum for an hour.
Yeah, dude, you know what my snare's going to sound like? That.
That's what it's going to sound
I'm going to turn out 10 songs because the snare sounds like that, and I'm not going to get stuck. It traps me, or it gives me freedom, because that's a parameter, and it's already set and kind of decided, and once I got it tuned up, that's the instrument. So I don't have, of course I can go in and compress and do some reverb and building the sound a little bit, but to have an acoustic instrument, or to have a real bass in your hands, you fall in love with the tonality of it. You don't have to make it all on the fly and digitize it. There's a beauty and a real bass.
In our when me and DB and Chris Paul, the guy that you saw, when we first were trying to record our first albums, we were in this place called, it was Chris's backyard. It was basically a tool shed that we had created, a drum room and a record room in the other room. So we had him in a drum room, and DB, we went out there, and it's one of those there. All right, we're gonna record. We're gonna start recording. All right, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get the drums at least on one song tonight, and we're gonna get it done. We spent the whole day and the next day working on snare sound. Why is it ringing? Dead. Oh, no, it's too dead. Can you make that a little bit more? It's not cutting through. Well, we can EQ it. No. Oh, God. Hit it again. Boo. No, it's ringing again.
I have a mantra in this room, man. It is fix it and pre. Like, if it sucks first, it's gonna suck later, and so just
it's gonna be one of those that I wish we'd have fixed that.
Man, the room thing, that's so important. I think for people that are just getting into recording, like if you're playing real instruments, you're playing with not like an amp modeler or anything. Like, what you have is an amp, an electric guitar, whatever it may be, electric bass, whatever it may be, and a drum set that's real, and whatever mics you have, because that affects it tremendously.
Yes.
But like, say we got the whole thing mic'd up with 57s, like everybody wants and has 57s, so mic it all up with 57s, totally cool. But the room around you is going to make such a big difference. And yeah, that's a difficult problem to solve for so many people that can go get the computer software, but then they want to play a real instrument in a room, and they're just, the real estate isn't there, man. You're like in an apartment somewhere. It's like, can't record drums here.
After we realized it in that one little box, that's what we called it, the box.
Yeah.
And we didn't get the snare sound because the mics were just so, everything, you were right on top. It's close mic, okay, you hear everything, and then like you said, it doesn't sound like a big room. It don't sound like a spacious. Didn't got the bottom sound. It ain't got none of that. It's tight. Everything's real close mic'd and everything's there. And then at the end of the day, whenever you go back through it and listen to it, you go like, man, can we put triggers on that and replace it? All that time. And let's put an electronic drum sound on top of that. It sounds like Def Leppard. Yeah.
You can get some. Boy, you can fake some verb, man. Everything's good at that nowadays. I've tried to look at it. I heard Rick Rubin say, I think it was in a podcast that he did recently too. But it's a philosophy that I've had for a long time, and it's make the music that your instrument makes already. Like,
yeah, make it sound like a bass.
Yeah, make it sound like a bass. Like when the drums are like tight and punchy, you write around it. You know what I'm saying? And like, if you're already going for a sound that you have, you got to fight. You got to fight. Yeah. But sometimes it's like, if you're starting from a place and it's a fresh place and you don't have something in mind, whatever you're dealing with acoustically,
let the natural part of it be.
Yeah, let it write the song.
Yeah.
And man, what Rick had said was, he said, if you ask me what good drum sound like, I would say AC/DC's Highway to Hell drum sound. I like that drum sound. And he said, what I found was, if I went into the studio session and I was like, I want this to sound like AC/DC's drum kit because I like that one the best, then it would always suck. And so
you can't reproduce it probably.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had to let the drums
too hard at it.
Right. So I had to let the drums tell me what the drum sound should be.
Right.
And the room does more of that than you could ever imagine. Like, the drums are in the room.
I mean, you can imagine him working with the Chili Peppers or somebody, like, and all of a sudden Chad Smith, give me that AC/DC beat. No.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever Chad plays AC/DC, it's on that kit, it ain't going to sound like an AC/DC.
Not a bit.
It ain't going to be tight like that. It's going to be open and
bonky suddenly.
Yeah, bonky. Go, Chad.
Are you a Flea fan? Like, I think Flea's.
I love all those bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Flea as a bass player is just, I don't know. He's one of my favorite. When Chad Smith and Flea play together, they're so tight, and they are one of my favorite drum and bass combinations of any band. Section. And I don't know. I'm just grateful to be alive when those two dudes are here.
To be able to know that those that were there. Yeah. There was another bass player that I like. Glenn Hughes. Glenn Hughes. he's the bass player. He used to be with Deep Purple.
Okay.
And he also played with Dead Daisies lately. But he did a solo album, and he used Chad Smith.
Oh yeah.
To do, I saw the video and Chad Smith and him playing together. Woo!
I bet that's fun.
Back to a rock meets that power funk.
Yeah.
It becomes a different thing. So anything that certain kind of style, like a Chad Smith or let's go with a Mike Portnoy, or
Yeah,
all of
Lord.
a sudden you put somebody in that position. Those regular songs have their flavor.
That's right.
I mean, it's no doubt you can tell somebody poured that
Yeah.
Portnoy flavor in
That's
there.
right.
Liquid Tension.
That's a tough seasoning, boy.
I mean, can you imagine Liquid Tension with even Dave Grohl?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Liquid Tension wouldn't be the same band,
No.
even with a good drummer that can play parts and all. But
That's cool, man. Like, my brain's trying to put that together now.
sorry, John Petrucci, don't hire Dave Grohl.
Yeah, man. Probably a bad idea. I don't know. Maybe it's cool. Maybe it's solo over the top of Dave. That's.
But you know what I mean? You know,
That's-
as far as style.
You're totally right, man. You're totally right. It's a rhythm section does so much to shape the world.
I've been lucky. As a bass player, I played with Maddie's drummer, Ross.
Yeah.
Great. Play with Willikins, Joe Picarillo.
Okay.
Joe used to play with DB on the Revival album.
Okay.
In that era. And the original drummer for Elijah Prophet was Eric Sotomayor. And he played with a band called Copperhead.
Okay.
Back in North Carolina at times, and to me, he was he is the best. He
Yeah.
is the Chad Smith for my little group that I've played around. He's
Yeah.
got that something that was. He went to PIT and
Deep pockets, I
Yeah,
think.
very, very deep.
Man, just like there was a professor.
feel and pocket. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That certain feel, and the thing that I'll get back to your professor story, but the idea that Eric did, the thing that I realized was the count, the 1 ante, 2 ante, 3 ante, and whenever you get that, and it's automatically I'm bouncing with a.
That's huge.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, here's where you are, but oh, wait a minute. No, really, you're. And
sure.
now all that's in between is available. It's available, and
There's open spots.
I
man.
didn't realize it because I was just playing back to what Rick Rubin. I was doing the accompaniment bass line to the AC/DC thing.
Yeah.
Instead of playing the part that wait a minute, I can put a little thing here. Oh wait, a little slide, little something extra. It ain't got to be boom, boom, boom.
That's right. That's right. You know, there's not a formula. You can let it breathe.
And once Eric brought that extra, where even though you're counting 1, 2, there's so much in between all that.
That's right. That's right. And guys that can like let something breathe at like 60 BPM. You know, I mean, it's like way down there, but you're just...
That's your heartbeat.
But
Right there,
that's his heartbeat. Right, exactly. So when you're just...
See, he's a drummer, ladies and gentlemen.
Like, there's a lot in between there, and you can kind of play on the front or the back of that. Yeah, you're right, man. That's... The professor story was... He had this saying in class. He would go, "Come on, man, pockets to your fucking knees." Yeah, sew them to your knees, man. And so, like, Jackie Santos was that guy's name. Played with the Beaver Brown band, and just a Latin soul drummer, and but like New York funk. You know what I mean? And so, but you know, all those Latin dudes, they feel stuff in like 2, and like. That translates really well to like funk and like funk rock because it pushes. And yeah, man, when you find a rhythm section that lets you bounce, that starts you dancing, then the song's halfway done, man.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It feels good.
Yeah, when you get the move, like you just gotta hire a Maddie to sing over the top of it and break everybody's pee pig and heart. There you go, man. Oh man, So you guys got a new song in the works? Is that what I'm like?
There's a couple.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like hearing that.
And the one that we wrote in Nashville, what's it called? Heartstrings. I keep saying 2 hearts because that's what it was about.
Okay.
Heartstrings, and that's a new one. It's on the future burner.
That's right.
Of the new ones? That's on the spot.
Throwing a question.
I like this heartstrings because like I said, every time that round and round and round part comes in, it makes me go happy. I become a happy person. I hope that and I think of you and Chelsea, of course, because that's the song is what basically is about. And if there was a way that y'all could be happy together, that song, round and round and round, our worlds are going around and round together. So
that's cool.
And that lyric just seems to. I hope that we can all go round and round and round and round and round and keep going and going and going and going.
Heck yeah.
Go on tour again.
That's awesome. Yeah, that it makes you happy.
It brings a joy. You can tell.
That's cool.
And like I was telling her on the ride over here, I said, Shayla, the guitar player, immediately whenever she did that harmony, it was just like perfect. It just jumps out. It makes the song extra special, and it makes my lyric that I added even better.
Cool.
It just pop. Exactly.
That's awesome.
And it's a happy time. Find your happy place.
Cool.
The song is about being in love with music.
Okay.
And on stage, but also love being at home where it's peaceful
Oh, yeah.
and quiet.
Yeah.
Pulling your heartstrings.
Two worlds, heartstrings being pulled, and the idea is, which was our life there for a couple of years. There was we were between Nashville and home,
sure,
back and forth. And then we moved there, and then we hung there for a couple of years. And then we back home, and so it becomes a tug and pull thing. But we're
round
lucky.
And round.
We're lucky it's going around and round and round and still working.
Yeah.
I mean, we come home and. You leave that Nashville scene. I don't know. I really don't want to get into that, but that could be a whole nother podcast that you could just say, all right, we're going to talk about Nashville.
Nashville life, man.
Yeah, it's going to be rough.
God.
Whenever we were walking, one night we were walking down Broadway, and it was after hours, it was around 12, 1 o'clock, maybe 2. And we're coming down the street, and there's these homeless people in the doorways. Crowds had kind of gone away, and it was getting cold. And I said, ooh, the cold streets of Nashville. Imagine if you were just a musician that had the bad luck, that didn't get the thing, lost your deal, lost your apartment, lost your way to take a shower, lost your way to get extra food, and now you're staying on the back end of Broadway, a couple of blocks from Nissan Stadium, and you're sitting there with 2 jackets on, and it's cold, and you're going, we'll play song for money or whatever, you got your little card up here,
God.
Cold streets of Nashville.
Yeah,
and,
man.
Like I said, that's a whole podcast that we could go into, because it is a little depressing. We got some friends out there right now, though. I saw BC Villanova, Brian Connor, and Herring, and Charles Riley, and all those people. They're out there doing it. We were just there a couple of years ago doing exactly what they're doing the writers' rounds, getting in, trying to get in. I respect them.
Yeah.
Because
that's hard work,
it's a tough thing. And so whenever I see them out there doing that, Jay Edwards, that's another one.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know Jay Edwards?
No.
Oh, much respect.
Yeah.
And Jay, is he from? Oh, he was from Columbia. So I didn't know if he was from Batesburg or down this area.
I think he's like Chapin, kind of. Like
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Diane and all. Yeah.
You need to check him out.
Okay.
That is a voice.
Yeah.
You want to get what's somebody kind of like Jay, not Chris Stapleton, but
It's like a blues, more blues.
he's got a real man. He's got a man's voice.
Okay.
And there's way more to him than that. It's just that's
Oh, yeah,
the only
yeah.
way we can
Describe
him.
But Jay is a badass. He's a
Okay.
great songwriter, good singer. And right before DB passed away, we were talking about doing a blues rock album and trying to get duos. And Jay was dead on DB's list to be
Cool.
one of the guys to sing with, because he's got such a great blues voice.
Cool, man.
And
Yeah, I'll check that out for sure.
A good songwriter, great songwriter.
That's awesome.
That one song about on the side of the road or whatever. I don't know, but I listen to it. I can't get past the chorus without saying, "All right, that's good, Jay. I'm turning you off because I'm starting to tear up because I've been there. I know, and that song is very similar to the going back and forth because he did the same thing for a while. Diane was home here in South Carolina, and he would be out there on the road trying to do it. And so anybody, I give, thumbs up to that. That anybody that's trying to
tough,
do that,
man.
yeah,
that's hard to do. It is
road work. We want to do it, but here we go with the problem. Why can't we find a friggin' booking agent in this area? Where is the booking agents in this area?
Is it tough here?
Yeah.
I haven't sought a booking agent
for that. Yeah.
You would be a great booking agent, man.
Oh God, man.
Booking. We had in-house. Chelsea was doing most of it, and then it is tough. We went to Nashville. We think we're going to hook into somebody. Oh man, there's got to be booking agents everywhere out here. Oh yeah, they are, but they're already into their corporate side of it. They're not picking up independents and trying to make your life easy.
Yeah, man.
They want their percentage, and then there you go. That's all you can do. But around here, there ain't nobody. I see Facebook every once in a while. People get on there like, "Can you book us? We're open." Blah blah blah.
Our only booking agents we ever had were out of North Carolina and Illinois.
Right.
So in Columbia, right? Like, is it the club owners that are booking?
Good question.
Yeah, good question.
It is the club owners on like our local scene here.
And you're having to reach out? And
we have to reach out.
Okay.
But if you go out of state, they don't talk to you.
And then they don't know you. You're not. It's a whole different game there.
It's different everywhere you go. It's crazy. It's very draining.
And so you're having to do what, the social media game and go, look how many followers I have. Let me play there.
Thing. How it used to be how many tickets you sell. Now it's how many views and clicks you get.
That's right. Yeah. How many followers or subscribers do you have?
You can buy all that. You can buy the followers.
That's true too. Now with bots and all, yeah.
It's I don't know. It's crazy.
Well, they're trying to run a program and decide like how many likes, shares, follows, subscribers, whatever you have that can translate to asses in seats, and that's a hard equation to run because of bots and all that jazz. Of course, I mean so.
I don't envy. I mean, at one time on our long rides back when we were on the road, we would me and my drummer he was my ride with me up in co-pilot. I'd be driving the RV and we'd be going down the road and we're going like, man, one of these days, man, we're gonna get so rich and famous. We're gonna buy our own club. We'll get our own thing. We know how to run a club. We can set up everything. We can do it ourselves. And we talk about it, and then we go in and. Every time you walk into the next room that you're fixing to go play in the next week, you're going like, man, they could do so much better here. You start realizing, oh, well, their agent, blah, 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 this room, you want to fix everything.
Yeah.
You can't. And in this world, I realized that trying to be your own independent booking agent, you're dealing with the club owner, that is got a budget that he's worried about, and mainly he's worried about his liquor license, and then he's worried about how am I going to get people in here, like you said, just in general. Is it my pool tournament? Is it my blah blah blah? What's going to work for me? Okay, now if there's something that goes on to where like several of our places they have to charge a cover charge, and then our friends come in and they're not used to paying more than $5 a cover charge, and now it's $7 to $10, and everybody's complaining to the club owner and to us like, what the hell, y'all getting paid? Y'all don't get paid? What, y'all gonna play? Man, I paid $10 to get in to see you this week, and I just saw you down the street 2 weeks ago and didn't pay nothing. I know I go into these weird voices, but
no, all of that is legit. I've heard that guy, all of those guys. I know that guy. Yeah, man, that's legit.
And then you have the regular people that always come in that bar and they're like, "What the hell are you playing in here for?"
Yeah,
you should be in
Nashville. Back to go to Nashville.
Like, Thank you so much.
Yeah, I was trying to get booked in Nashville. That'd been cool. Thanks. Good idea. do you know anybody?
I never felt that way.
But
It means a lot.
another thing about the local scene, okay, and I'm not going to, okay, I don't know how many people's going to see this locally, and I don't know if I'm going to alienate my friends. The problem is that, okay, Columbia, let's just use Columbia for example. Let's go from Batesburg all the way up to Camden, over to Blythewood, over to the Lake Murray. Let's just create that circle. Okay. Now that is a 50-mile circle that would, you would think that if you lived in Nashville, people would come from Pegram, where we lived on the west side of Nashville, would come all the way to Franklin down south to go hear a band, because it's only 40 minutes away, 30, 40 minutes away. Columbia, we can play over here at Bubba's. And we can go over here and play over on the two-notch side and at Pollywogs. And not anybody's going to come from over at Bubba's. And nobody from Pollywogs that saw us two months ago over there is going to come all the way to Bubba's. And then it becomes a thing of, even in distance, you have followers and they will meet you on this side of town. So how do you get that Fish, Grateful Dead, following to where they're going to go everywhere, and they're going to see every show, and they're going to be right there. If they're going to Bubba's, they're going to go to Pollywogs. They're going to go up to Blythewood, Chubby's Burgers.
Those guys, Fish is like a lifestyle or something, man. Like that. Like, I do think about things like that in regard to the business side of music. Love Fish for their artistry. What in the world makes people show up to go? Like, I will listen to Fish for an hour and a half. I wouldn't go watch, though. Like, maybe once in my lifetime I would, but I wouldn't follow them around.
Yeah.
But their fans do.
That's the thing.
That's like they're real.
That's the thing.
They're real hardcore people. Do. And like, what do you build a lifestyle for that? You know, is that even what you would be looking to do as a business? You know, it's like, okay, as a small business owner, band, what type of fan or what type of supporter do you want? And how do you get to them?
If you could, in your AI, put in your prompt, what is your perfect fan?
Yeah, what does that look like?
That is a great thing there, man. I just realized that if I could go into AI, what would I create? What fan would I create? I mean, we love Willie Fan Club. I understand.
For sure.
We'd have that, but
you should have a fan club. I'm gonna join.
Join now.
I'm in.
But the idea of trying to create something and from scratch and get it going and everybody like you, it's tough.
You couldn't do that. You couldn't have everybody like you. I mean, by default, we know that. I mean, some people are just for some people. You're for me. I like it. You know.
It's like as I was riding up here, nice beautiful day here in South Carolina, and I'm going like, how can the world be divided? How can, and I'm not wanting to get real political right now, but with the Trumpers here and the old Democratic side of life over here, and we have been given a focal point of this is where we are right now. Okay, what happened to 9/11 whenever everybody was united?
Yeah, there
and
was
I was thinking about that I was thinking about it on the ride today, and I was looking. I saw flag, and I was going like, everybody was waving flags after 9/11. We were close. It was a tight thing.
Yeah.
Those differences of whatever that was, why can't now you just open your mind, whoever it is that is not with the program, and I'm not going to say Trump's the program, I'm just going to say the positive, whatever is positive. Why can't we find more positive in the things?
It's crazy to me that Democrats, they're so upset at Trump, instead of being like, Hey, look at all the waste we're cutting. Hey, look at all the evil government like espionage bullshit that we've done with USAID forever. Like, look at all the Brazilian overthrow bullshit things we've been involved using US aid for 30 years. I'm a Democrat and believe in human rights and people should be loved, and we could keep fucking over the South Americans as long as Trump's not in charge. Like, what type of bullshit tribal lawfare hatred thing lives inside of you that you can't go like, man, our government is exposing horrible things that our government has done and is doing, and that's probably good for all of us. Even if I hate that fucking guy,
right?
Thank God that's happening.
I was trying to put, okay, in my mind, I was going like, let's put not Hillary, because let's call her Harriet. Let's put Harriet in place of Trump, and it being no name, not saying a Democrat, not saying a Republican, but let's put a female woman and doing the things that exactly what Trump's doing. Because of business, and it just happens to be the way that she thinks it should be done, and they run through the economics of all, and it's possible. Okay, so Harriet is running this country. Just because gray-haired, blue-haired Harriet, are we going to have blue-haired haters?
Probably.
There's going to be blue-haired haters.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Instead of looking at the
it didn't matter
premise.
whether it was Trump or whether it was Hillary. It would be just haters.
Yeah.
I think there is a side that is just going to find fault.
How much of that do you think is manufactured via like Russian bot? Like, so much of this shit's on the internet and it tries to get us to hate each other, right? I mean, like, but I'm not a man. I'm not. like, there are things that are good and there are things that are bad, and I want to stop as much of the murder and killing as we can. That would be cool. But otherwise, you know, one of the best things I could do about it is like play a groove. You know, I mean, I can talk about it. I can get it into the open. I would certainly love to like stop making as many mass murder weapons for our GDP. You know, the M1 Abrams is cool. You know, I think that
I've always thought high tech weaponry was great.
I think it's cool.
You know,
the F-22 is phenomenal. Love it. But
when they first showed even one of those big caliber bullets going through an apple in slow motion, I was going like wow, look at the way that thing. It goes out, blows out the back end. It goes in small, but blows the back end out. Welcome to America.
Hell
we can,
man.
We can invent shit.
Yeah, we can.
And it's powerful. And okay, back to not wanting to go too deep into the conspiracy end, but the weapons.
Let's go.
Let's
wade in.
The frequency weapons, I believe that they haven't been using on us. I believe there is something going on with frequency. Sound. We are in this business for sound.
Sure.
We know our hertz. Like he said, it didn't go past 16K or whatever. You know. Mm-hmm. So what does the government and what does the scientists and what do these things have to where they can totally disrupt a protest?
Sure.
Split them up with a big sound wave.
There was a sound weapon that was just used in a protest a couple of weeks back. I mean, they absolutely blasted I don't know what it was.
You could see the crowd.
The wave.
Yeah, the wave.
They dispersed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was going like, now what are they using? Now, back to the original thing of where you don't know. Is it lost? Is it government controlled? Is it your BlackRock people? Is it the people that actually understand how to make frequencies and take giant rocks and build a pyramid and move frequencies?
Probably. I can't figure out how the hell you move 2-ton blocks. I mean, like, well, 2-ton blocks, sure. 100-ton blocks, though? I don't know.
I watched
500 miles, by the way, through sand.
I'm a frequency guy. Okay, so let's go with the original thing of what everybody talks about in music, going from 432 to 440 in the tuning.
Sure. Yeah.
That was a thing.
That's right.
Now, that was a national I mean, not a national, that was a worldly thing.
Sure.
It became like, oh, well, we're going to go from our normal tuning of 432, all these violins are like this, and we're going to play it. Now we're going to jack it up to 440.
They jacked it up to 440 because when you got way high, a perfect fifth didn't line up anymore. So like if you're trying to play like an A major chord,
The harmonics are.
yeah, like as you move up the spectrum at 432, like as you move up the keyboard, you won't get perfect chords anymore. So you get more perfect chords at 440, but and like a single frequency of like 432 and 440 does different things to us on a cellular level. Tuning to 440 doesn't bug me because you're playing chords, so you're dealing with 80 frequencies all over the place. It doesn't matter if you're tuned to 432 or 440. I don't think there, but frequency science is absolutely mind-boggling. Like when you think about the size of a wave. So when I was building this damn room, I had to think about this, right? So a 30 hertz bass wave is 18 feet tall.
Whoa.
And 30 feet long.
That's a big wave.
That's why you can't it's really difficult. I won't say can't. It's really difficult to record bass and sub frequencies in a room that's not
Huge.
large. Yeah. And so like a lot of guys that are trying to record drum kits and stuff in tight rooms and basses to a cab in a tight room, all the bass waves stack up and make each other, like sometimes they'll just cancel each other out, and you'll just get a shittier tone. And it's like I learned something super cool when I was building this thing. I wound up calling an acoustic engineer that just builds rooms for audiophiles. And he basically told me I was a fucking moron. He was really mean to me, dude.
Thanks for letting that
because
make me feel this.
Yeah. I was like, because I was building, like, this is a sheetrock wall, but I was building a wall inside of a wall so I could get some air trap. And he was like, well, sheetrock sounds like shit. And I was like, yeah, well, I can afford it. So I kind of got to deal with it, brother. Because there's
fabrics that you can put.
And the sound curves when they bounce off sheetrock, it's a little more poor, so it's not as good. But a plaster has beautiful sound curves, and I have a fair amount of plaster inside it. That's a plaster wall, and the ceiling's plaster because it's ancient. And so he told me I was a big dummy, but he did teach me something that would help me with my big dummy self, and that was if you use activated carbon, which is just the black shit at the bottom of a fish tank, right? When they activate that carbon, it makes it so porous that you can send a 30-foot long wave into it, inside of like a pound worth of it, and it'll bounce off inside of the porous material for like ever. It won't escape. So you can use activated charcoal as a bass trap. And so if you have about 150 pounds of it or so, you can set it up in the corners of your room and use that whole room as a bass trap. So that room is filled with like 200 pounds of activated carbon. So I leave that door up and kick that kick drum, it stays in there. And so I can point a bass cab at it and not have it reverberate around the room forever and ever and run into sound or phase issues or cancellation issues.
Phasing,
And so there's certainly still shitty stuff inside of the room, but like that was a huge help.
So whenever he came in, did he frequency analyze it, RTA it or something?
No, he didn't. He never came here.
Okay.
We just did like a phone consultation. I gave him my measurements and told him my material set.
Because I see the angles that you got. You got an angle there, you got angles here, and you got your sound clouds. And so I ain't heard the drums in here yet, but
that sound all right. They sound pretty good.
I love your back wall too. I know y'all can't see this right there, but it's
just
great.
watch any other video on the channel, you'll see it. Find me on Instagram. I point the camera toward that thing all the time. It's cool, cool wall, palette wall. But yeah, man, I'm knowing the sizes of frequencies and understanding how, like, the structures that they make. Have you ever seen oh fuck, I'm not gonna be able to, I can't remember the name of this. Someone Google this. When you pour salt on a steel plate.
I love that.
Okay.
The sand frequency. Sulfian frequencies.
Man,
There's a name for it.
look this up. You pour salt on a metal plate and you run a frequency through it, and it'll create
designs.
Yeah, it'll create a crystalline structure of the salt, and so that's what that wave looks like
So
in
if
the
you
universe.
move that wave, imagine it like, okay, it vibrating, and as it's vibrating, it creates these four corners up in here, and it's got this here line going through it, and then all of a sudden you change that frequency and erase it, and then pour some more on it, and go up to another five more hertz or whatever, and it becomes a whole different pattern.
Yeah, it'll make a new lattice shape or some crazy stuff.
It says it's called, I don't know how to pronounce that.
Solfagen.
Chaldney patterns or somatics?
Somatics, that's what they call the art. Yeah, somatics.
Word I'm terrible at. Sorry.
So I'm going to put that on the screen so we can look at it while we talk.
Show them what it's doing, because back to that, if you could actually harness, so I reckon that'd be the word, or make focus.
Sure.
Could you lift those blocks?
I
mean, you're moving sand.
I totally agree. Yeah, I think that's exactly
you're making
what it
this
is.
sand every time you hit this one frequency. You're making this sand from right here go.
Man, it'd have to be. That would have to be. I mean,
back to focus.
We know that we can direct sound. We're good at it.
That's what started the whole protest idea.
We do. Yeah, right. And also, I mean, you remember Metallica playing in Russia in '93 or whatever it was, and they played for 1 million people. That was so many people that they had to set up an array
PAs
that went
through the audience,
right? Time delays,
exactly.
And so we know how to direct audio. What volume of what frequency would you have to hit to move those blocks? Because I really do think that's probably how it was done.
If you had a bazooka of sorts, a didgeridoo-like instrument, and you were able to take a didgeridoo, just a
didgeridoo makes sense,
and you were to focus that down at the bottom, and you were to go and get that didgeridoo to actually do. Jim, my buddy Jim, has a didgeridoo, and we always want to start an Aerosmith song with. So I know this is looking great in camera. But if you could focus something and make like that on the floor, all of a sudden you got that thing, and all of a sudden you hit that right frequency, and all of a sudden it starts to tremble and lift up a little bit.
That would, man.
What if you were able to do that? Okay, well, you see the sand, do it.
All right, engineers, you need to hire some musicians. I'll play a didgeridoo if I'm getting engineer money. Hit me up.
Man. We'll move some stones.
That's got to be. Well, it doesn't have to be. That couldn't. Maybe it's not how it was done, but I've heard the theory before that sound probably did help navigate these enormous stones. I mean, there's cut rocks and shaped vases and things that just we can't do it with our laser tech today. And so somehow or another,
laser etching in the rocks of those buried cities, whenever they unbury it and then they get enough of the dirt off of it, and you see how good that is.
Yes,
that is real stone. You're going
unreal.
How did the artists in the first place?
And they were supposed to have copper tools.
And back up far enough to go oh, I see this. Let's go into that rock and work on this.
Yeah.
I mean, Mount Rushmore, okay, you get a few heads up there. But
with dynamite.
Yeah.
We didn't bring the mountain there and build it. That's what happened with the pyramids, man. It's like they brought... they believe that the quarry that the rocks were taken from, giant lime, is or granite rather, is 500 miles out. What tech can move stones that size 500 miles in that age? Yeah, right, man. Horses, people. Yeah. There weren't that many slaves. I'm sorry.
That's rolling a lot of rock.
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
And they supposedly built them in what? It was under 100 years. One pharaoh's lifetime is the official narrative of that.
See, therein lies the lie, because what's buried underneath it, I believe, is going to surpass all those there.
So didn't they just discover
histories.
that? Or they use somewhat type of lidar,
or whatever it's called. Yeah,
man.
And they actually see.
That's gonna be some weird shit y'all are gonna read on the internet in the next couple of days or weeks or months. Like they found some enormous like superstructure under the pyramids, the 3 Great Pyramids of Giza, like far larger than the pyramids themselves, which are
deep,
radically large.
Deep.
Yeah, probably 10 times the size of a pyramid down.
I've seen something.
One picture, which really, because I saw the news the other day, they were showing Washington and the Washington Monument, and imagine a sandstorm going all the way up and taking our Washington Monument up to the pinnacle of where it turns into that, and all you got is just the top, not the whole structure.
Shit's trippy, man.
Imagine that being our pyramids in Egypt, that there is a Washington Monument underneath it.
Yeah.
That deep.
Yeah.
You look. Have you ever been to Washington Monument?
No.
I went to the Washington Monument. And I looked up and I swear it moves. I was high, but we stood right up there and we kept looking up at it, and I go like, man, it's moving. I swear it's moving. We did the same thing at the at the arch for St. Louis too. Man, I swear it was doing this. I know we were pretty close, and
I watched 2 trees reach out towards one another and hold hands when I was on about 5 G's of shrooms once. They were like,
did you feel the unification?
oh, hard. Yeah. I was like, this is what it is, man. We're all one.
Nature.
God. Oh, that was a good day. I did naked pull-ups later.
Okay, Jim boy.
Just wanted to see what was up. Oh, man.
This is a good podcast, folks. I tell you, this is.
How are we doing on time? We still.
We've already gone through like 2 of them.
Oh, cool. Really?
Yeah.
116 minutes.
Oh, we're doing great. This is awesome.
This one's dying. That one's good over there.
Cool. We're making good time. We're talking about fun stuff too, man. Like,
were we supposed to be on topic about something special?
No.
Okay.
No.
I didn't know if it was just some music.
Well, it's what I'm really aiming for. If I have an aim with this podcast, is to get across to people that are either going to attempt music as some type of career or any art as some type of career.
Yeah.
To think about what the process actually looks like and not think so much about the fame and whatever the hell that comes along sometimes with making art. Most of the time it doesn't happen that way. Most of the time the process is truly an artistic endeavor where you set up your time, you set up your structures. In our case, like, we sit around and we write songs, and I don't think a lot of people are actually aware of what that looks like. So, I mean, when I'm writing a record, I'm writing a record that you'll hear 2 years from now,
Right?
because it takes that long.
Yeah.
And it's like, to write songs in the way I write songs is I play all the parts. And so, man, I'm going to spend a week on the guitar part, and I'll probably spend a couple days, a week on the drums, like really getting it, because I'm not sure what I'm writing first half the time. If I got a good part, start to play it, let it breathe. Maybe that starts on the drums, maybe it starts on the keys, maybe it starts on the guitar.
I was going to ask that process, since you're by yourself. Where do you start?
Depends.
Yeah.
Really, sometimes
whatever the song calls.
Well, sometimes, if I'm sitting at the keys, or I'm like building a synth patch and I like feel something kind of bubble out of it, then I start right there. And depending on what I'm feeling first, if I start with like a synth bass line or something, most of the time I'll move to the drums next. Not all the time. The most recent thing I was doing, it started as a guitar riff, and as I built the entirety of the song on the guitar first. I didn't even move away from the guitar, and then I went and built a synth bass, and I've played the bass line through the song, so it's just guitar and bass right now, and I'm gonna move to drums next, and then I'll do the vocals.
I was going to ask when does the inspiration of the lyric or melody, creating melody is always my hardest part. Once even once the song has got its basic thing, because that's where you go like, we can change this a lot or we can not. You know, keep it simple or.
Sometimes I've only ever begun with a vocal melody like one time. Right. A lot of times my vocal melodies are like an interplay with another, like a counter melody. I'm running multiple melodies, and so typically
you hear one that you want to sing.
Yeah, I hear what I want to sing, and like there's something that's been built, maybe with a guitar, maybe with a piano, and there's an underlying melody there, or it's the preeminent melody now, but then it's going to become the underlying melody, and they'll counterpoint each other sometimes, and that's just that's how I go about that. And a lot of times, like with my vocals, if I'm building a synth heavier song, then my voice I'll use some robotic work with it. Like I'll harmonize in thirds, and then I'll distort the piss out of myself, and so I sound a little more like a synth.
Create a part.
I create a part. Yeah, my voice is much more of an instrument than I am a singer, because like she's a singer.
Right.
I can use my voice to hit notes. Yeah, you know what I mean.
You create the pattern. Yeah, you can do it. You can make the sounds.
That's right. And for me, like I'm singing from, really whatever the soul of the song is, and I only have my voice, so I'll give it everything I can. You know, but that is if I'm doing, say a guitar part, and it starts stepping on something, or I figure out later when I added the drums that it was stepping on something, and I didn't know yet because I was in the process of that. Yep. Sometimes I got to backtrack, go back to another instrument, reconfigure the part.
We're in the process of recording the first Willikins album. And we were cutting up the other day, and everybody's going, all right, Willie, we got drums on these couple of songs. Why don't you go ahead and put your bass line down, and we'll start building from there, you know?
Yeah.
And I said, there's a scratch bass on there already. Go ahead.
Yeah.
The bass is last. They did not understand that. I said, Vince and Race are going to end up writing guitar parts, and there's going to be something that I'm going to go, oh, I wish I would have played with them. No, I'm going to wait till it's done.
Yeah.
Get them done, and then I'm going to put my final thing on there as my last. And everybody's now picking at me. Well, we'll just wait till Willie's done.
There is something to be said about the last thing that goes, which
it's
is
usually a vocal.
Yeah, it's almost always a vocal.
It's always the vocal with us. I mean,
I've had synths come post vocal before with me.
Add a part or something.
Yeah, something. And well, I mean,
When do you know when the song is over?
Oh man,
as far as back to writing and recording.
That's hard. That's a hard time. That's a very difficult thing, actually.
I noticed that the producers, like your Rick Rubins or whatever, you'll know. They say, "Oh yeah, no, you don't." I don't think. I mean, I think you do know that it's good enough. But I have in Elijah Prophet with DB and Eric. Eric was the co-writer with the drums and all, and we just about never finished a song. It got to a point where it was like a month of Sundays is what we called it. All right, let's get a month of Sundays and change the next one. Let's change the next one. We got this song already finished. It's just about done. We've demoed it out. It sounds good. Hey man, why don't we change that third verse to the so and so, and then we drop that out. Cut the fat. It always ends up with the cut the fat in the arrangement. And then, now, when are you through? I don't know.
So I have
produce me, please.
I have built a net for that, and it was to prevent me from that.
Oh, yeah? Like a stop point.
Well,
somewhere?
It's like great phrase. I've used this inside my head. Perfectionism is procrastination. Or procrastination is perfectionism masquerading as something helpful. Like, it's not.
I see that. Yeah,
It's-
because
if-
it can't be perfect.
It can't be perfect. It can be what it is,
Yeah.
and it can be real good. So that cliff that I had to, like, balance on is still exists for sure. But in regard to always getting it better, time itself has to be given to that piece, because like the month of Sundays thing, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
The way I go about it is, once I feel like I have the instrumentation down, once I feel like I've sung the part truly and it's good, and I listen back to it raw, right?
Yeah.
It has a thing, it has a feel. I feel like it's right. I feel like I've done everything that I can in pre to get it there. And then I have to wait at least minimum. Okay, typically I start mixing the first song I've recorded. So if it takes me 20 weeks, say, to get through the recording process of 9 songs, I always do 9. It's just a collection of 9, moving on.
We're doing 11.
Yeah, I mean, and I like to do that, so that's my number, and that's how I know I'm done with the record. It's like, all right, this is the year of songs,
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
And so once I'm finished with the recording process, I do the mixing. So I go into the mix with the first song. So I've had a lot of time away from it. Haven't heard it in months.
That's good.
And so
Yeah.
then I start to mix it, and I start to like get some of the sounds together. Once I'm close, sometimes it's like, hey, now that it's real clean, there's a hole right here, and I can fill it in with the part.
Right.
So I do that. I get the mix, put in that part, do it, get it as tight as I can. Beautiful mix. Move on to the next one. Sometimes, I'll spend 2-3 days, maybe a week on a mix. When I get the entire record mixed, I start back over, and I do it all over again. So I get a mix 2. And so now I've had enough time away from song 1.
Yeah.
And so I go back and do it again. I get it as tight as I possibly can. And then I go back through every single one of them, like together,
A repolish.
as a unit.
Yeah.
Get them as tight and polished as I can. But now I'm 4 months into all of these things. They've had enough time to breathe.
As a unit itself, each song is a unit. Yeah.
And if I absolutely feel like there's something wrong, like they'll finally come out of here at that point, and I'll put them in my headphones and just drive them around, because now they're almost ready for a consumer level speaker. And so if I'm hearing something strange mix wise or arrangement wise, I feel good at that point.
So you do take your mix out to the car?
Oh
or
yeah,
truck or whatever.
yeah. I do the
got
car.
to.
Man, I keep
I mean, the phone is going to be what everybody's using these
Yeah.
days, unless they got a Bluetooth speaker or something.
I use phones. I use a set of Sony headphones that are like nicer, they're like a $300 set. I use those. I figure people that are high-end headphone users be around that range. Then I get a piece of like $20 JBLs, and like I like those a lot, to be honest with you. I use those more than I use the Sonys. And then I get like $50 pair of JBLs too. Then I do the AirPods, just a regular iPhone AirPods.
And in the generalities, after you've done this now several times, are you able to focus your mix to where you know that it's working for all three of those?
It's going to be different in all of them.
Because your mids or whatever, or your mix or something?
That was something that's difficult to get over, is you can get it. It won't be the same anywhere. The question is, will it translate there?
Whenever you hear that one instrument jump out in your earbuds versus what you had your big headphones on because you got so much roundness around it, and then all of a sudden now you hear this one guitar part going, beep, burp, beep. What the hell was that? Oh, it's all because the mid highs are in this here thing here.
Yeah, or just the lows aren't big enough.
The lows aren't as surrounding it. Yeah, you're not.
That is and then of course the damn doo-doo cell phone speaker. Just that. It is so difficult to get a bass player to come out and be alive on a speaker that size, because it can't produce.
It ain't gonna happen.
So I've noticed that if you bump 800 hertz, it's like, oh, Kiss. That's like,
You get more of a
you get the bass,
the push of it.
you get the push of the bass through the cell phone speaker,
Mm-hmm.
and so just slightly in there lives, you know, somewhere between 750 and 850, you can get the soul of the bass that really comes out in a big set of headphones to kind of push through a cell phone speaker, and not obviously to the truth, but closer, translatable.
It was always okay. Being the bass player back in the even in the, let's go 60s, 70s, 80s. We would try to get board recordings or put your live mic in the back with your cassette player, you know. Bass never translated.
It's hard.
Never.
It's hard.
Until today's nice speakers and frequencies and all, now you can actually hear what a bass player sounds like. I mean, you listen to Billy Sheehan and you know what
he's doing.
I mean, you know, he can do it. Yeah.
That's true. That's a lot of the speakers that, it's funny, we have the tech now for the best sound quality ever, and we listen to it on our cell phones. So I do try to get into multiple cars, but I only get into cars that I know pretty well, because if you get in like 50 cars, you'll break into multiple personality disorder and hate yourself. It's just like, okay, somewhere
it's going to be okay.
It's going to be like, does it translate in most every area? And it depends on what you're mixing too, man, because a lot of the instrumentation I'm using, a lot of the synth heavier stuff has frequencies that they'll never show up on a cell phone. They'll need a bigger system, and I just have to be okay with them not being there. And it's like, make sure that it's as there as it can be and deal with the rest.
Do you take a reference, like a CD or a reference song that you always go and like, man, this has got plenty of bottom, plenty of top, plenty of vocals, plenty of this? Because we used to do that whenever we would go do our sound gigs, you know, back in the day before we knew how to EQ a room. Really, basically, just put in a good CD that you, all right, man, I know this here Soundgarden sounds good. Let's put it in, and now that bass sounding better. That's a little muddy. Tighten it up. All right, now. In a live
place, absolutely, 100% do that.
So whenever you reference
King's X Dogman.
Oh, Dogman. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
That's the best sounding record ever, man.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I know what that thing sounds like because I've heard it on every set of speakers ever.
That's a great one.
Yeah. King's X Dogman, I can fix the room.
You ever seen him?
Oh, yeah, multiple times, dude.
I saw him like from here I was standing in front of Doug Pinnick right here, like in Charlotte.
That's where I was, man. I cannot fought my way to the front of the stage.
This bass player has got this here long thing that, and the tone that he had. Oh,
that dude looks like a spider. That dude look up Doug Pinnick. Go look him up. You got to see this guy. He's got 8-foot long arms.
D-U-G, Doug.
Yeah, D-U-G, Doug Pinnick. Or King's X, either one or both.
I've heard of King's X, but...
Oh, man. They're one of my faves.
When we lived out in Texas, they say they were from Texas when they first started, but he really wasn't. But they lived there in Houston.
Capital.
Yeah. Doug. He's got his own little amp modeler thing now too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Doug Pinnick bass.
Good.
Yeah, I think I have seen him. Maybe you showed me him.
They're badass for a 3-piece band. I
met Doug and Jerry in London, Kentucky, and
face looks huge on him. He's tiny.
He's very small.
Well, I mean, he's skinny.
Yeah, he's tall as all hell. Yeah.
I see that. Yeah.
It was funny, man. I just thanked Jerry for being alive, dude. I was like, you changed my life. I was like, my whole course of my existence is different because of that guy, man. Like I've listened to his grooves.
Whenever I watched him play that night, I was watching it and I was just going like, I have this. I always want to, in concert, I always want to be the drummer. You're going to go see Aerosmith, Joey Kramer.
Yeah,
air drum and Joey Kramer. Of course I'm going to air drum Neil Peart, but here is Jerry. And he's playing like this. He's playing like the hi-hat sideways, doing this, and he's got his head like this, and then every once in a while he would hit this here splash crash, and turn his whole body over to that way, and come right back to this side over here, and he's got his hi-hat swishing like this.
I love it.
I was sitting there, man. I can't watch Doug for watching him because he has a spell on me.
That guy is cool to watch, man.
And I didn't talk in my microphone. Sorry.
That's all right. No, he like
I was drumming.
that dude. There's a buddy of mine said that Jerry attacks the drums. Like, I love watching him play. I love watching how, like, his head he'll like bite down. Like, he just has this deep feel with Doug that's amazing. And Ty Tabor is
Tabor, what kind of guitar player is that?
the best one, man.
I mean, when I heard Ty Tabor, that was my first. Not I ain't gonna say first, but it was my fall in love with Paul Reed Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, I realized that sound. He was able to get all those clean, clear, chorusy effects to sound so good with a Paul Reed.
Man, he played a Fender he played a Strat in his early career. And Dad spent his whole life trying to get that tone. Like, we could never do it.
He sounded like a mixture between every guitar player, like I call Alex Lifeson, Alex Lifeson to these LA like he had certain phrases that would just jump out. It would complement everything.
Yeah.
I mean, his leads wasn't always the blistering.
No, that was one of my favorite things about him is he could do something blistering, like the song Moan Jam off Faith, Hope, Love. That was a blistering guitar solo. But I think that it was just so popular during his comeuppance to be Yngwie that he was like, that's enough with the finger tapping. Like, yeah. Eddie won that. So I'm going to go over here and just be super soulful. And I love that
and
about his playing.
It's weird how they have a sound for three-piece.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
And it's Ty creates, I mean, even because the low end is so solid, Ty can be on top.
That's right.
And he is such a good, like I said, phrases and the way he mixes all the chordal things with the vocals and the harmonies. Oh, they're harmonies.
They're harmonies. Beatles fans, man.
I'm a Beatles fan for sure. Whenever you can tell that they, what's that, Over My Head song?
Yeah.
Oh, God, when they sing the breakdown on that.
So beautiful. That's so beautiful. There was the song Shoes on Dogman that starts, it's the second track on the album. What is it? It goes, there can be but better ways from yesterdays to me. Somewhere there are better days and better ways to be. Something like that. What is it? Sunny days have funny ways of quieting the roar. Is it still a blessed thing to live and live some more? And they just, 3-part harmony, they just sang that entire phrase and then just, like, you don't get bands to do that anymore. Bands don't just say, hey, we're going to beautifully sing together. and that's the whole piece of music for like 50 seconds. Like, you get crucified for an intro that long. Oh, yeah. Like, people don't even let you do that. They're cut the fat, right? Yeah. So, I don't know. I grew up with them kind of being in the smack in the middle of the indie and they're almost gonna make it stage.
Yeah.
And they made the coolest music I'd ever heard, and I was like, fuck making it. Like,
yeah, let's
you want to be right
music.
there.
Let's make music, and if we can elevate
they got to travel the world.
If our songs are good enough and we can perform live, then we'll rise to the top.
That's right.
That's what they did.
They did. I know a lot of people say that they never had, like, they didn't have the career that they should have had or whatever, but I mean, they made a big impact on a lot of music lovers.
It was big. I thought, back to what you say about where do you cut yourself off at? Wow, I've made it, or I've finally done something. Each album that they put out, it's always been a good album.
That's right.
Mean, even when Doug did his solo stuff, that was good. They're creative.
They are.
So just keep letting it flow, let it go.
Frank Zappa said,
let it go.
Frank Zappa said that about the business in the 70s, that they were more willing to take risks on things that were avant-garde and just kind of, when something like Captain Beefheart can exist and people will let it exist, like that. I feel like a lot of that has it's been forced into the indie world now, which I think eventually it'll just come back
out.
and overpower, because people are going to thirst for it after a steady diet of McDonald's. It's nice to have a steak.
It's after going through all these, I call them eras, the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, now, and now, the idea of going from any longevity is going to be hard. Okay, ABBA sold their thing just like Kiss sold their thing. I mean, they're still, ABBA's still going to be around. Kiss is still going to be around, even though they might not be around.
Yeah.
So the longevity to create your thing. Maddie's got one album. Elijah Prophet's got a couple albums. D.B. Bryant's got 3 or 4. It becomes that's all we got, but that's what we got.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't produce anymore, well then you're done. Okay, but Skinner has still got a career going.
Yeah.
You look at all the bands that has longevity.
Yeah.
If you can even just create that one thing, and now with the internet, you have longevity.
Yeah, I think so.
Create that project, create that song. I know. Okay, back to the way the eras change. Maddie's talking about just doing singles. Moon Pie was saying, well, before we put out the album, let's go ahead and just put out a single. Let's see how it works,
Yeah.
I get the single thing.
Does that like blasphemy to you?
It's like I am so old school that the project is the product. You finish it out, the project. One song, okay, great.
What do you think about Morgan Wallen putting out an album with 37 songs?
I love it. Morgan is badass.
That's a lot of songs, dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of songs.
I was joking around the other day. I was like, how is anybody even going to be, or today, I was like, how's anybody going to be on the charts? Morgan's going to be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, because all of his songs are literally all over the charts. And then he's putting out a 37-song album.
That's wild, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That is great.
He put out a double album a couple years ago.
He did a double, yeah.
And Miranda did too. Sorry, I just went to
I saw him on Saturday Night Live, and so I went back and watched him on Theo Vaughn's podcast. You know Theo Vaughn?
Yeah, for sure.
And that he was talking about writing those songs for that and being just going at it.
That's a day in, day out move.
Like, what would you say? You mentioned Zach Brown. Zach Brown and those guys, they were always doing double albums. It seemed like, if you got the material and you got the inspiration,
that's awesome. I think
that's great to do it.
I think so.
It is inspirational too.
Whenever you were discussing doing it all yourself,
mm-hmm.
I was thinking of the 2 people that not influenced me, but I really respect for was Todd Rundgren.
Okay.
When Todd Rundgren first came out, his album Something Anything, which had that hit Hello It's Me.
Yeah.
Hello It's Me. He did all the instruments.
Okay.
And if you open up back to buying the album and you first open it up, he's in his New York apartment or wherever it was, Bearsville, and his instruments are laid out in his room.
That's cool.
And you can see the tom-tom, and then there's an inset picture of where he's hitting just a tom. Like I Saw the Light was one of the songs. It's got a tom-tom intro. Boom, dum, dum, boom, 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 and it's got a tom-tom thing, and he's just holding the tom-tom.
Yeah.
And he's hitting it,
That's awesome.
And
that's cool.
To somebody that can create from all the ideas come from themselves. Todd Rundgren was my first inspirational idea. But then whenever Prince came out,
I was just talking about that the other day.
Prince actually did all those instruments, played the hell out the bass and the drums.
Yeah, dude. That was 2 days ago I was having that conversation. Prince is legit. I think that's more available to do now with the recording capabilities that we have.
Yes.
But that is one of the hardest things. I have not figured out even kinda how to deal with that post hoc. Like, all right, I got the albums knocked out. My 3rd album's done. I'm releasing singles. Speaking of release structures, here, Maddie, the way I'm thinking about it and the way I'm looking to do it, I do record a full album. And and like I approach it as a full album. But as I start releasing, like my first album's out, my second album's completely out, my third album is finished, but I'll release one song every month until all 9 are out, then release that. So my fourth one is also done, and that'll start doing the same thing next year. And so I'll do a couple more polished things. But
is there a gap? Is there a gap in between albums, or you just keep it rolling?
I just keep rolling.
Oh, nice.
I just come to work, man. It's like this is the office. This is the coal mine.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, just
you already got it set up and scheduled. You're just like, okay, it's done.
keeping and coming hot, and that's like.
That's a good idea.
And
I have no formation.
I have a question about today's world about singles. Whenever you release a single and you already have, you haven't put out the whole compilation disc of it. Do you have to pay like at CD Baby or DistroKid as a single distribution or do you because whenever you upload the whole album, you can take any single off of it once the album's out there because you got the compilation.
There's a fee for everything.
I do.
Yearly, annual fee.
That's what I do. So TuneCore, if you get TuneCore, I mean, of course, DistroKid, they all have the premium tier stuff, but I think it's like $60 a year, maybe $65 a year, and you get unlimited releases. Oh, and so they won't charge you.
I didn't
pay for that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Okay,
for sure. So you can just
keep you on all these platforms and
that's right.
All these. YouTube's and
Spotify's and
well, yeah, not just that, but like if you're on Instagram and you're making a video of a wedding and you want to use gray, anybody can, and so
point back to you.
Puts it up on YouTube, they're gonna get it, and it goes to you.
That's right.
Pretty wild.
It's TuneCore is cool, and I've Lord knows DistroKid. There's little bugs and issues with all of them for sure. You can't talk to a human at TuneCore. That's not allowed. And so they flagged one of my songs, and they were like, "Hey, song's called Dance Music." They're like, "You can't call it dance music." I was like, "That's the name of the song." And they're like, "Yeah, but it's too generic, and it might get caught up with like a playlist or something of the sort." And I was like,
"That's the point."
I was like, "Listen, like, are you?" As a music distribution company, I'm emailing back and forth. As a music distribution company, do you really want to stand on the ground that says the artist isn't allowed to name their work? Do you really want to do that? And they wrote me back. They were like, "All right, we'll let it roll." And so, when it was awesome. I'm glad that happened. I'm glad that it happened that way. I had to email back and forth because you cannot talk to anybody. So that's just their policy. So there is a terrible thing that will occur with all of the distributors, and there's a definite bone to pick here. Not sure how it's going to get sorted out, but it does need to be talked about. If Spotify has a playlist that has been determined to be a botted playlist, and you get put on that botted playlist, you have no control over this. If that does happen to you, it's literally happening to you, and you have to reach out to your distributor ASAP and say, "Hey, this has happened to me. Please help me get off of this list." Because what will happen is Spotify will say, "Hey, they're on a botted playlist." TuneCore will ban all of your music from every site, and there is no recourse. There is no appeal.
How can you get tagged as botted?
All that has to happen is Spotify or TuneCore or DistroKid or whatever distributor you're using finds out that playlist has an overwhelming amount of listens suddenly, or like, hey, the song had this playlist had 1,000 plays on it yesterday, but today it had 130,000, and it's like they pick up a pattern, and they go, "Well, hey, you're on that. Your music is
you doing it too?"
Yeah, and then they go, "Hey, all your music's banned," and there's no appeal. So there at least needs to be an appeal process, because
the appeal process has got to change for people.
That's crazy.
So it's scary. It's scary because they could just say, "Hey, Maddie Wren, streams are gone."
As soon as you ever make a jump, what if it happens? What if all of a sudden we play Winsboro's big festival, and then all of a sudden we get 10,000 people from Charlotte and Greenville start following Maddie?
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden there's a big jump. So now you're going to get botted.
Here's my question: is that why people post them on the internet before they record them and release them? To get a lot of people pre-saving them, and then when it's released, it is just a big thing and not going from little to big. Does that make sense?
I'm not sure. I mean, I guess any exposure is good.
There's a lot of pre-sale.
That's right.
Like, you want us to record this, and it's already like a demo that sounds badass.
Yeah.
Like, and which is smart.
Good way to go.
Think of that when I did
For sure.
I just did a regular video.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder if that's why they do that.
I'm trying to figure out right now how to go about making new videos, like what the new video should be for artists. Should it be the old format of video, like, hey, we have a music video, or should it be more interpersonal? Yeah, should it be skit? Should it be interpersonal? Like, hey, we're in the recording. You know, this is behind the scenes. So I'm about to release some stuff over the next few weeks where I've done some production and like filmed an interesting video, a performance video. But since I'm the only one performing, it's me in every station of this room simultaneously playing, and so I feel like. That's probably cool.
Wow, man!
I hope so.
That's so 2020. Kind of take you back to your.
I wish I could do that. That's a great idea. I think it goes good.
Wow, that's so 2020. Man.
Super 2020.
That reminds me of a virus time. You know, back in the day when everybody did everything by themselves.
Dude, man. Did you see Bo Burnham's stand up from the lockdown? Oh, that was phenomenal. I literally wasn't sure whether or not he was legitimately losing his fucking mind. Like, because in essence, he was playing himself losing his mind, writing and recording songs while on lockdown.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's like, almost too real.
I'm pretty sure, man. I was starting to feel for him. But, you know, it is a difficult landscape because the artistic expression of a music video can be very cool. If you feel like you have to do a music video, then that can be very oppressing and it doesn't complement the art itself. Your videos have been great. Do you want to continue to do videos like that, or do you feel like...
What about AI?
Man, I think you might get crucified if you try it.
I mean, I know people that do AI and they use it for writing purposes, for band writing. Like
in the video idea.
I did one AI video
where you could prompt a video of stuff.
I've done one. I have one. It's in early AI iterations.
I saw that one you did.
That it's pretty cool. I came out pretty cool. It wouldn't look as cool by today's AI standards, but. Yeah, 2022, I want to say. We used like 3 different AI engines and video that we were shooting and feeding it. And it took like 50 hours or something like that to render. It was a long time.
I saw Disturbed did a video with the AI,
oh, yeah?
all the different prompts, and it was great, but it was AI.
It's something.
Even though the artwork of seeing... dreaming like up here, bald head and looking like this, rah.
Yeah.
But it's art. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, but you can get artists that are actual people to do things. Yes, it's going to cost you more money.
That's true.
That's why people use AI, because it's so cheap and easy. And
exactly. That's what I was saying. Back to everything has come to the box. So if it's in the box, why not? And I'm the only creator. Let me use AI and let me get a model of my model.
Yeah.
And to put them in a background.
Yeah.
And it becomes because you can't afford it.
Right. Yeah. Who could have a studio of humans?
We have a song. Willikins have a song called "Run Along," and the whole video concept idea of the song was that Moon Pie's dog got dog napped by this here Mexican ring, and they stole the dog, and then they go to this. Were we high? They steal the dog, but the dog goes to this cantina thing, and then behind it and all. And we can't go to no Mexican place to create this video.
Yeah.
To have a cantina, and in the back they're doing cockfights, and there's our little dog that got stolen with the little Willikins hat, sideways, and Moon Pie comes in and he destroys the place, gets his dog, gets him on a motorcycle, and they leave out going into the sunset.
Yeah.
Run Along Little Dog is the name of the song. And so
that's nice. That's a good idea.
We can't do that video the way we would. We always say Quentin Tarantino could do that, though.
Yeah.
It'd be perfect for that idea.
Honestly, I think if you're
So AI might be in the works for that.
If you just come out and say that along with the promotion of the video itself, be like, hey, if we had $3 million, people would do this, but we don't. So here's our idea. We thought it all the way through. We came up with the prompts. It's an AI thing. If any super director wants to take this on as a project, we'd love to do it. Anyway, here's our video. Run along, little dog.
Like have that there, that guy that is always in the Matrix. I don't know if he's in the Matrix movies, but he's always the Mexican bad guy. Torello, Torello.
Yeah. That dude was an actual gang member.
Yeah.
He went to prison.
Torino, is it?
Torino, I think.
That's him. Yeah.
I knew it was a T.
Yeah, but
right.
that
Look
guy.
him up. No, it's Danny Trejo.
Trejo. Danny Trejo. That was him. But he's. I would love for him to be that guy.
Yeah, he's that guy
that we would have to, as the Mexican badass.
So check this out. That dude has in his contract that in every film that because he always plays the bad guy. He's always the villain. If you notice, if you go watch everything that he's in, he dies. He has to, as a part of his contract, because he wants to use that character as a moral to teach people, if you act like this, you wind up dead. So in everything he's in, if you see him come on, he's dead. He's going to die.
So, there will be an end to this.
So
I've heard he's really cool, like a good guy.
I've watched quite a few interviews with the guy. I think he's super cool.
Is he the one that's got
big tattoo across his back?
Yeah, across his whole.
It's Penelope Cruz, isn't it?
It's some chick.
It is. I think it is Penelope Cruz.
Showed it to her. I
was going like, damn, dude, that's committed.
Yeah,
he was in Breaking Bad as the tortoise, and they put his head on it. They cut his head off and put it on a tortoise that walked across the desert and exploded and killed a bunch of DEA guys.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, that was wild.
Put that in the budget.
Yeah, man. How much did Vince Gilligan pay for that scene? That's a $2 million scene.
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
It was real too.
Internet people, it's not that we don't want to make awesome videos. It's that we don't have millions of dollars. But if you want to crowdfund some neat shit, we'll do it.
I mean, all songs to me. Well, I'll tell Maddie. Well, I see the video as we start to write the song. It's even though we can't create the video. Yeah,
it's there
in our head. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing that.
I got a good one for dance music. I just can't film it yet. Like I'm saving money. In a few years, maybe it'd be cool. But
I was thinking about AI and going from, speaking of dance music, was going through all the prompts and create from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s how dance has changed, but have it dance to your song.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Have the beboppers doing.
It's like the dance changes with fashion.
Yeah, way fashion and dance and your music, but your music is what they dance to the whole thing. Even what do they dance now? I mean, Dancing with the Stars is the only thing I know that is dance.
That's about it.
I mean, if you call it, they still do line dancing though.
That's true. There is a line dance.
There's all kind of dancing out there, I'm sure. So.
We had 2 hours. We make 2 hours yet? Close to it?
About somewhere in there.
All right, fine. We'll give you guys a break. We're gonna come back and do this another time, man. Like today's awesome.
We'll do part 2.
Yeah, we'll definitely do part 2.
I knew it was off. That's why I did it. You think I'm gonna do that?
That one.
Do it to that camera.
This one. That one's still on.
It's running. Well,
part 2.
We'll do part 2. Willie, thanks for coming, dude.
Man, this has
give
been
me some love.
fun. This has been fun.
It's been super fun, man.
I've always wanted to do a podcast.
Yeah. Is this your first podcast?
First real.
Dude, that's awesome, bro. Thank you. Thank you for doing this with me.
We'll do it again.
Yes, we will.
Enjoyed it.
I'm Bear Knox. This is The Process. This is Willie, brother Willie Bryant. We're very grateful to have this man, and we'll have him again. See you guys soon.